Good afternoon, this is the COT data for day for the week beginning the 16th of September 2024. We've got the QDB scores, sentiment and fundamental scores on the left hand side. On the right hand side we've got the COT data. As you can see, we've got quite a lot of things that are equal, quite neck and neck. We've got a strong Aussie, you could probably argue strong Swiss, Euro and Pound, and a strong New Zealand dollar. A semi-strong CAD, a semi-strong USD, a weak yen. But the thing to note about the yen is that we were very, very negative, and it's come a long way off the lows. So I think what's probably going to happen is that we're going to have a big battle and possibly a lot of chop to see which one's going to be like the top currency. And of course we've got the FMC, so pending that, this is probably going to shrink, I think, but we could be wrong. So currently as it stands, weak yen, dollar and CAD. All right, so that's the fundamental, the sentiment and the technical. That's the left hand side of the screen. On the right hand side of the screen is the non-coms, and this is the banks and institutions. So we can see the euro is strong, which makes sense. You know, look, we've got a big column there and we've got that big surge. We've had a bit of a knee-jerk reaction, but we are positive, so it's worth noting. The dollar is ticking higher, which kind of makes sense because we've got a positive score. It's not massively strong, and that's what we're seeing there. So that's the euro FX, and that's the US dollar. Okay, so just be aware that they're both positive, but the euro is stronger than the USD. Okay, so let's look at the yen. And this is the first time I've seen this, so we'll go through it together. Like I say, this has come off the lows, right? So this is like really minus 12, minus 13. Boom, massive move. And we saw a massive move on the QDB sentiment. Okay, and also if you want to get access to the left-hand side screen, you'll need to go to patreon.com/QuasiDB, and then you have to select the premium tier or the FXSI QDB tier. Okay, they're the same, but one's discounted if you're an FX SSI subscriber. So if you select the basic tier, you won't get the spreadsheet. Okay, any tier above the basic, and you get access to this. So that makes sense. So we've had a big surge in yen. We had a big surge in yen. So I think this may continue higher, possibly. If you look at this, it's quite strong. We'll keep the yen on, we'll take the euro off, put on the Aussie. So we've got a good score, but we don't know what the COT data is like. So we had a bit of a pump. We're not quite above zero, not quite above it. And slightly more negative than the week prior. Okay, so that's of note. Got a 7.8 score. Okay, let's see, off, pound on. So likewise, got a decent score. And we are positive. We're slightly more negative than the week prior. It might be that we're going to get some clarity after the FOMC, and this is possibly going to do this, but we'll have to wait and see. And don't forget the yen is stronger than the dollar, so we're looking for dollar yen sells. Okay, that's the crossover. The yen is stronger than the yen, so you're looking for UJ sell. Right, that should be quite simple. You're looking for the crossover. It's very, very simple. And you'll probably see the dollar yen performance. It actually encountered some difficulties last week, and that's possibly one of the reasons for it is the non-comps. The banks are more bullish on the yen than they are on the dollar. Okay, pound off, CAD on. CAD's got a so-so iffy score. It's not great. And CAD had a bit of a pump, but we've just gone sideways. We have actually just gone sideways. Yeah, it's just crazy. Yep, so that's that. So be careful, CAD. We're negative, come off the lows, but we haven't moved from the week prior. Okay, so I'll probably be really careful with that. And of course, the oil is moving a lot as well. Oil had bottomed out, as you would have seen in Discord, and I stipulated the stop loss for WTI, and it moved 2.7. I think it was like 2.5% on the day after I sent you guys buy. So hopefully you took that setup. I stipulated the SL, and it would have made a really good return had you taken it, of course. So because oil's going to pump, Um, we could probably see this continue higher. Okay, CAD off, done euro. Let's look at gold. Gold's strong, but was slightly more negative than the week prior. Okay, yeah, that's fine. 287, 282. So there's a reduction of 5,000 contracts. Still really strong, but we've had a small reduction. Okay, and it might be worth noting 274. Yeah, what's that high? If we go below that high, then might have some resistance here. Okay, so be careful there. Okay, and I do think this was a sentimental move where the herd were bearish, and it continued punishing them because they held short. They were in like a disbelief sort of mentality. They couldn't adjust to the new price. They stuck to the old price range that they had in their head. And when we surged above 2000, they held short. Then we went to 2100, and it just punished the herd, and this was a big pump to punish those guys. I believe. I don't think this is really fundamentally based. Maybe it was sentimentally based. It was going up to crush the bears, basically. Very much like indices. The 90% of the reason why the indices are really, really pumping is because of the sentiment, because there's so many bears left in the equation. They just need price to fall because they've got they're on the sell side. So if price continues high, it's going to punish those guys, and it's going to take their liquidity, and you could argue it's going to go up higher anyway, but probably wouldn't have been so aggressive on that move higher because if they weren't so short. All right, so this is likely a sentimental move. I'll show you the risk calc. That minus 15 tells us there's 15 bears versus the one bull retail guys. Okay, so there's 15 bears. So try and picture that if you're in a room and there's 15 people and you're the other person on the other side of the room. Those 15 people is quite a lot of people. They're all selling and you are buying. Okay, so there's a very crowded space, in the retail sentiment. Okay, so that's that. So let's come back to the QB scores, and so that's the sentimental move. I believe it wasn't nothing to do with fundamentals. I think it's really sentiment. Let's take gold off, and we're going to look at New Zealand dollar and then Swiss franc, and we'll close the video. Slightly negative than the week prior. It's a big move on the yen, isn't it? New Zealand dollar hasn't done much. We nearly tried to break above 0. We didn't manage to do it. So that's that. So we're just negative from the week prior with a okay score at 6.3. And lastly, Swiss franc, and then we'll just wrap up the video. And remember, if you want to get access to the sheet, just let me know, and I'll send you the details. You can just direct message me if you've got any questions. Perhaps the tiers are confusing at Patreon and you need some help. Just message me, I won't mind. Swiss franc, and just gone sideways. Really, just gone sideways. So nothing really to be said there with a Swiss franc of 7 scores. So it's not bad. And just as a reminder, those scores are taken into account the technicals, and we've got the market structure summary, which takes into account fundamentals. So it looks at inflation data, unemployment, GDP, the unemployment change, the GDP change, and it takes into account the sentiment, whether or not they're getting paid, whether or not they're getting punished. So there's the punishment aspect. There's the daily open and weekly open. Of course, if we're above, then it's got a bullish score. And so it's got a load of information. So that the QDB scores take into account all that stuff, and it gives us a good summary. And so that score, it comes into this. All right, so that's that. So going into this week, you could theoretically look for yen weakness, but on the other hand, it has come a long way off the lows. So you probably want to be careful. And it looks like there's going to be a big battle this week going into FOMC. So it's possibly we may see continued yen strength. We might even go into positive territory, and that'd be the first time that's happened since we've looked at the QDB scores. We've been looking at this for a long while. So remember to trade safely. We've got a big calendar this week, and if you've got any questions, let me know, and I won't mind at all. And also good news about the QDB bot, but I'll feedback to you guys about that, and we'll give you some updates over the course of the week. I'll speak to you guys soon.